be slowing down after a strong finish to 2013. For a second consecutive month, American companies, they hired at a slower pace than expected during January. To be specific, the U.S. economy added 113,000 jobs during that month. Economists, they were expecting a much stronger figure, somewhere in the vicinity of 180,000 jobs being added. A look at the past 6 months tells the story. Hiring slowed down in December of 2013 and in January of 2014, following strong figures throughout the autumn. Just look at November, 274,000 jobs added in that month. There is one silver lining, though, and that is the unemployment rate, which dropped slightly from December into January. It fell to 6.6% from 6.7%. Markets, they don't seem too worried either by the weaker than expected hiring figures, because we are seeing stocks trading to the upside this session over on Wall Street. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up almost 1%, the Nasdaq up almost 1.6% this hour, with around about 40 minutes or so to go before the close. Now, these stronger than expected figures come as some economists say that the weaker hiring figure may be a product of cold weather. European stock markets, they closed in positive territory as well. We saw some pretty solid gains there for the CAC 40 in Paris, up almost 1%. And if we take a closer look at the European markets, basic resources and mining shares in general gained in European trading. It came as steelmaker ArcelorMittal said it expects higher profits in 2014. It's predicting higher demand for steel in both the United States as well as in Europe. It follows declines in both of those markets last year. Overall, ArcelorMittal says global demand will grow by 3.5%. Next up, Yahoo is stirring up anger here in France. It follows the company's announcement that it's centralizing European operations in Ireland. Yahoo says it wants to streamline its business, but in France, it's seen as an attempt to escape the French taxman. Delano de Souza has more.
Yahoo users in France got a special email on Thursday. An email saying their messages and photos will soon be managed by a single European entity based in Ireland. While officially the company explains this as a way to simplify its structure, it's not by chance Yahoo picked Ireland. The country's prime minister even visited Yahoo CEO Marissa Mayer in California last year. Ireland offers a favorable corporate tax rate, one of the lowest in Europe. Their firms are charged a low 12.5% compared with 33% in France. A tax optimization method already used by other internet giants like Google, Amazon, Apple and Facebook, something the French President François Hollande is well aware of.
These big groups which situate themselves in countries with low corporate tax rates, we have to do something about them. And when I go to the US in a few days' time, we have agreed with President Obama to make a joint effort on tax harmonization.
Meanwhile, Ireland's Prime Minister Enda Kenny rejected any claim Ireland was a tax haven when visiting the OECD in Paris.
The regulatory system that we have in Ireland is a model that could be used in any other European country. We have been very clear about this all along. Our tax rate is 12.5%. It is a matter of national competence.
Changes at Yahoo will come into effect in March. Yahoo says its 150 employees in France won't be impacted, but the company's offices in Switzerland and Cairo are believed to be closing.
The stories that we're following for you, and we're starting in Germany. Germany's highest court has thrown a spanner in the works of an emergency plan for the Eurozone. The court says a pledge by the European Central Bank to buy the bonds of weaker Eurozone countries could be illegal. The plan was outlined by the ECB back in 2012, and it's been widely credited for the easing of the Eurozone debt crisis. The German court has now referred the matter to the European Court of Justice, which will have to decide. Internet giant Google is buying a stake in the Chinese electronic goods maker Lenovo for around $750 million. After the transaction, it's reported the American company would hold just under 6% of the capital in Lenovo. The deal is being finalized as the Chinese company is buying the mobile phone maker Motorola Mobility from Google itself. And the work to widen the Panama Canal has come to a halt. That's according to the Spanish-led consortium in charge of the project. It says the Panama Canal Authority owes it $1.6 billion. The project is meant to widen the link and allow bigger ships to pass from the Atlantic to the Pacific or vice versa. But it's overshot the budget, and the two sides have not agreed on who should foot that bill. And with that, I'm going to wrap up the business news for now. I'll be back in around about an hour, and I'm going to hand it back to you, Tom.
Thank you very much indeed, Marcus. Well, it's time now for a check of what's making waves online. Web News is next.